I guess the story that I really want to tell from that, though, is like I saw the closer I got to my truth, to who I was, those deepest parts of me, the closer I felt to oneness and to connectedness. It's like, and the opposite was true as well. The further I drifted from myself, the less connected I was to myself and others, and ultimately life, just life itself. And the more I drifted, the more pain I felt. Then come the drugs and the alcohol to soothe the pain, just for that moment. If it's just for that moment, it's good enough for that moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather round. Something brand new is going down. He who has ears, let him hear, and God bless the child. Child is parables now. Ladies and gentlemen, gather round. Something brand new is going down. He who has ears, let him hear, and God bless the child. Child is parables now. Are you listening? You listening? Listen up. 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 Are you listening? You listening? Listen up.
So I'm super, super excited to have you here. It's funny, as humans, we don't need permission, but then sometimes we do need permission in a sense. So I want to let you know you have the freedom to say whatever you feel, and I hope you feel comfortable enough to say whatever you feel. But I hear that you're here to tell us a story. Can you tell us that story?
I can. Yeah, so I grew up a pastor's kid in a small town. It was in Oregon. I remember the story my mom told about the day I was born. She said, "Your dad went to church just after you were born to tell everyone he had a baby girl. He was so proud." And I always thought to myself, like, why didn't he want to stay and hold his baby girl if he was so proud, right? I mean, I never said that, but, in truth, I think I've been trying to win my father's favor since then. It was a really strict upbringing within a very small circle of folks. We were all in the same church circle. And looking back on it now, it seems a bit more like I was saying before, like a cult, than a traditional church, And as the pastor's kid, I was required to be a certain way. It's like if I veered from that way, I was very harshly punished. And when I fit into that way, I was rewarded. So I quickly learned how to people please. I know you know what that's about. And play that role while simultaneously, sort of learning who I was inside of that character. It was a tricky balance, It was like a balancing act. And anyway, we moved around a lot. We moved from church to church, and I see that experience. It gave me a lot of ability to quickly adapt, and but I was taken from my community, my friends, my family, and put in these strange new places with very little stability to hold on to. And at least I knew how to people please. I knew how to make everyone happy. I knew how to perform, play the role of that perfect pastor's daughter, But yeah, I thank God for my brother. He was a huge influence on me and my spiritual development. He introduced me to philosophers and theologians and poets and music that stretched my way of thinking, and it urged me to keep asking questions. We joined a band together called Paradigm. I played drums, keyboard, sang. We backpacked around Europe when we were like teenagers. We spent time at a commune in the Netherlands, which is actually where he met his now current partner. And I guess the story that I really want to tell from that, though, is like I saw the closer I got to my truth, to who I was, those deepest parts of me, the closer I felt to oneness and to connectedness. It's like, and the opposite was true as well. The further I drifted from myself, the less connected I was to myself and others, and ultimately just life itself. And the more I drifted, the more pain I felt. Then come the drugs and the alcohol to soothe the pain, just for that moment. If it's just for that moment, it's good enough for that moment. I graduated early. I started college at 17, and man, it was excruciating. I hated school. I hated having to fit in. I was done. I was done with being told what to do or how to be. Just completely done. So I ended up traveling. I, quit college. I worked hard, bought a car, drove that thing all over the country, Canada, Mexico, and I just lived out of a suitcase for years. And honestly, man, I feel like I kind of still am. It's kind of a funny feeling, but I really do. And I've made friends all over and count myself very lucky to have had that privilege. But dang, it's just, I'm still in that suitcase a little bit. After all that travel and time spent getting to know myself, I found that my calling is, and always has been, music. Music as a way of communicating, music as a way of connecting, music as a means to create a holy moment together. I started working full-time as a musician when I turned 30 and started a record label, learned the music business, blah, blah, right? And played probably over 1,000 shows, right? And now I'm 40. I'm 40. And I'm in yet another transitional place, It's like I just moved from the Bay Area to Baltimore. Before that, DC. I'm just transitioning forever, ever, ever. And I feel like the word I want to really double down on in this story is return, right? I just keep returning to myself again and again and again. I just keep returning. And I wanted to read this quote. Can I read a quote? Cool. A mentor of mine who recently passed, Thich Nhat Hanh, he says, "There is no need to put anything in front of us and run after it. We already have everything we're looking for, everything we want to become. Be yourself. Life is precious as it is. All the elements for your happiness are already here. There's no need to run, strive, search, or struggle. Just be. Just being in the moment in this place is the deepest practice of meditation, and most people cannot believe that just walking as though you have nowhere to go is enough." It's like, for me, I think I found that the spiritual dimension of my life has been revived simply through gratitude for the present moment. It's as simple as can be and incredibly profound. And it moves me to tears often when I just it's real cheesy, but I can look at a flower and cry now. It's, it's magical. And being at ease with not knowing has allowed for the answers to come, right? And embracing uncertainty and gratitude for the good I already have is the foundation for abundance, right? All of those things are just loud and clear to me now. And I guess kind of really the story I really want to just say, it's I've been looking for my father's favor since I was a little kid, right? And people pleasing to find that love and that connection and that, are you going to take care of me or should I take care, all of those things. And really it's just being here now, celebrating this moment truly with you two in this room. That honestly feels like the most precious gift. These stories, these ways of connecting, music, my story is I'm just going to keep returning over and over because that's all I know how to do, That's kind of all I really had to say.
No.
Yeah.
That's me. You said that song. You said a lot. You said a lot. I wrote down that quote. I don't know if you would feel free to, or please send me that quote if you could.
I definitely will, yeah.
But you said embracing the gratitude you already have. What is it that you're grateful for? What are some of the things that you're grateful for in your life right now?
I think what I mean when I say gratitude, I could go down the list, right? I could just go down the list of all the people, all the things, all the whatevers. But really, it's like a feeling of like, Thich Nhat Hanh also says, said something like, walk as if you're kissing the earth with your feet, right? Stuff like that. Like, it's so simple, but it's so profound. Like, that to me is an explanation of the gratitude feeling. Like, I have the opportunity to wake up and smile and live 24 hours and celebrate you and us and this weird time we're living in, but I get to use my gifts and celebrate yours and make something beautiful and connect. And that is like, I think that's the gratitude. It's like a breath. Breath. Every breath is like, thank you for that. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, I'm not thinking that, but there's a feeling, there's a resting feeling of just like, wow, I get to be here. Wow, I get to breathe. Wow, I get to connect. Wow, I get to hear this person's story too, and really hear it. Like, not just hear the words, but hear those points of transition, those points of pain, those points of suffering that brought you to feeling more aware of who you are and more aware of your heart and who you want to be. And that to me is like a profound gift, I was thinking about, telling a story about all the stuff that happened in the church. And, like, I started writing all these gritty parts and, like, all these really unpleasant, like, just use your imagination. It's probably that also, kind of stuff. But I don't know if I really want to even go there. It feels like that's done. That's gone. That's somewhere else. It's like, I want to be here now. I just want to be here. My story is like, I get to be here. Holy moly. Like, this is great. I don't think I ever said holy moly before, but now you heard it. You heard it here first.
That resonated.
Yeah.
Because I am just transitioning out of the phase where I do want to tell the hurt I experienced from church. Like, I was on a crusade. I was on my soapbox. If you had time, I was going to tell it. Like, because there is the part that I'm challenged with is that I felt like there was not even a space created to talk about it. And I was so hurt about it, I would bleed on everything that I would talk about. If it was a Facebook post, I had to get off Facebook for like years. Right. Because I was so hurt that I just couldn't control it. If I was in conversations, I was talking about it, and I had moved from a place of loving to just really just wanting to reveal. And it wasn't no love in the revealing, it wasn't nothing spoken in love. It was just revealing. Because if y'all not going to reveal it, I'm going to reveal it. But it resonated with me when you say you moved past. That's where I'm at. I'm like, it's like I literally just stepped out the forest. And it's just behind me. Like, I'm just getting out of that place where I can let that go and realize. Because I'm starting to realize that you get to a point where you realize nobody can do anything to you unless you allow them.
That's right.
But for a long time, you didn't know you had that power.
Right.
But it's like, now that you know you have that power, you realize like, oh, well, I don't have to live in the past anymore. I can move on past this. And so that really resonated, and I think that's powerful. Yeah. Where you can expose it, you can talk about it, but if it's not profitable to your right now, your healing right now, why even talk about it?
That's right. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. I think
Yeah.
there's, I do believe in the power of storytelling as a means to get to those places.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's why I really wanted to just be here and be present.
Yeah.
You know, and I do also think like there's the more we suffer, I was thinking about this earlier, the more we suffer, the more light we can share. It's an interesting thing, but really it's really true. Like, without suffering, we don't have the opportunity to cultivate compassion and understanding. And without understanding, there cannot be love. Like, you want to define love for me? Love is like understanding, wanting to understand.
I'm trying to see if I can find this, because you just said something. Please let me find this as quickly as possible. I'm in the wrong. I know why I'm not finding it.
We need a musical interlude.
I know, right? I know.
We'll be right back after these messages.
After these messages, we'll be
right back.
Come on, it's coming. We almost there. Please. All right. Is this it? Is this it? So I'm just gonna read it like I texted.
Okay.
So I was telling you in the car here. I might not have phrased like this, but I have an accountability team, a group of brothers. I told you about the brothers. They love on me, right? And so we text each other periodically in the morning, 5 in the morning. And this is what I said. I text this. I wish I could tell you the date. I don't see the date, but I'm just read it. There's a spiritual system for all types of suffering, including self-inflicted suffering. Suffering is a prerequisite sometimes to healing. And so suffering, it means to experience or to be subject to something bad or unpleasant. Like suffering is a system of growth.
That's right. I mean,
Suffering
that's so
is
right.
a system of growth.
Right. Yeah. It's profound.
It's profound.
Yeah.
And some of us, we don't want to deal with the suffering, but the suffering is for a reason.
Yeah. It's interesting. I feel that very deeply. It's like we get comfortable in our suffering, right? We get comfortable and then we just stay. We just stay there. Just stay right there. But I think that, it's like the idea, I think for me, the idea of returning, it's like, I don't know, there's something there in the suffering and in the returning. It's like you're constantly remembering who you are, not like your personality or your characteristics or, even your DNA or who your dad is, but like your inside stuff, like your soul bits, and it's like you return to that and you got your joy back. You got your awareness of your love and your, you got your strength back. You're a champion. You can do whatever you want,
Absolutely.
And it's deeply profound.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the word, your word return. Like, cause even like, so, a year and a half ago, I was so close to my weight loss goal. I had lost like over 100 pounds.
Dang.
Man, that was, oh my God. And then I switched careers, followed my dream, and got depressed because it was hard.
Right.
And I started putting the weight back on.
Right.
But I was so protective then of my old person that I didn't want anybody to say anything negative about my old person, even if you celebrated the new person. Because that old person was me as well as this new person. And so now I am who I am now. And I was so on edge because I didn't want anybody to say anything about me putting the weight back on. Like, don't you say nothing. But when you talk about that return, I think who we are in the past and who we are now, there's a collision course. And there are fragments of us that we loved in the past that we want to be here with us in the present. And so when you talk about that return, it's like you're going back and gathering the whole you. Yeah, there are parts where you want to stay in the past, parts that you don't identify with, like parts that you can say, that's not me and that never was me. But there are parts that you are protective of when you say, but that part of me, you're coming along with this journey, because without you, I wouldn't have got to where I am now. So I love that your word returning. It's like you're gathering the pieces of you. And it's like you want to celebrate who you were and who you are. And so it's like you're still on that. I see it, and I could be wrong, but this is how I see it, that you're still on that journey of gathering the pieces of you. I feel like that's where I'm at. I'm still on the journey of gathering the pieces of me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm protective of those. I'm protective of those pieces.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to be discarded that I'm not ready to discard of.
For sure.
You know, and so I do see, in listening to you, I see the full circle. You know, the full circle, the becoming, as your word, the becoming of who you are. Like I see her, like I hear her, like you, like I, because I told you I'm a fan, right?
Sure.
So I can hear you, my soul, because this is like, so because I don't have to break that down, because you know what I mean when I say that now, right? Because we talked about it.
Yeah.
My soul feels you. That's why my soul readily identifies with you. Like your art pulls me because I identify with that returning. I identify with it. And not only do I identify with the returning, but the becoming, I identify. The vibes, when I use some of the vibes, like my soul feels it. Like my soul identifies with your soul, with that returning. So yeah, so I hear you.
Gave me a couple goosebumps on that one.
I hear you, absolutely. No, I hear you. So I have a couple questions. You can choose to answer or not.
Sure.
But where are you at with your parents?
I mean, I love my parents so much. You know, their life looks a lot different from that time. You know, they divorced. You know, it's kind of a little funny to say, but my dad came out of the closet when he was 40. I don't know if I like that term, but whatever.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
When he was 40?
He was 40.
And you're 40.
I'm 40.
And I'm 40.
You're 40.
And we feel like, right?
40 party.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's when, right? Those are the
Yeah.
transitional points.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know.
Figure out who you are, right?
I suppose so. Yeah, I suppose so. It's a big one. That's a big one for him. He got ostracized from the church big. His family completely rejected him, you know. And I kind of was his, I don't know if he would say this, but maybe his anchor, you know, kind of just like kept him up. And that was tough times. It was tough times, you know. I'm like young, 19, 20-ish, you know. They had me, you know, when they were young 20s. But yeah, my mom's wonderful. She lives with a very, very straight dude. But they're good. They're good, and I love them deeply. And I do work to send them love. You know what I mean? Like, I spend time sending them love in my quiet time to make sure that those stuck places in me, that suffering that occurred, that they were doing their best they could and they weren't doing great, you know? I still am going to send love to it. I still am. Because what else am I going to do? I can't stay there. I just can't. And, you know, I'm just going to love them. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do.
Do you think you ever got the approval from your father you was looking for?
Trying to make me cry?
I'm not. Listen, at any time you gonna have that, you can cut this part totally out.
No, it's cool. Yeah. You know, shoot. I don't know. You know, even if he said, I am proud of you, I don't know if I could take it in completely. I think there's something in, I don't know. That's an interesting idea. Maybe I'll sit with it and get back to you on it. Yeah, but I don't think so. Yeah. And I think it's not about him saying it. I don't really think it's about him saying it. I think it's real deep inside. I think it's a spiritual, soulful, deeper thing than he could really give me, to be honest. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I don't know. But maybe not. Like, what do you think for yourself? Like, could your dad or parents say that? Like, I'm proud of you, son, and you'd be like, I accept that, and that feels like something? Or, I don't know. It's a big one.
It's a great question. So, man.
Yeah.
Look, am I gonna cry?
I know.
So my father has recently been literally saying those words. I'm proud of you. Been literally saying, you know, son, I love you. And so my dad was a very hands-on dad. My dad So I'm writing a book with my dad, and it's been in the making while for maybe like 5 years.
Wow.
And we got to this point of me writing a book because I had to have a sit down with my dad and had to tell him some things that, some hurt and pain that I felt because of his decisions. Right?
Right.
My dad's a wonderful man. Everybody that knows my dad loves my dad. And by all means, my dad has been a great father. But I think we talked about this, right? The nature of relationships is that you hurt other people.
That's right.
And you may not mean to, but you hurt them, right? And so the nature of my dad and my mom adopting 5 kids at one time. My dad being full-time pastor, going after his call, taking care of a family with 8 kids. That's a demand on itself, right? And so there's decisions that had to be made that particularly may have hurt me in a sense. And so I had to have a sit down with my dad. It was like, there's some things that I've been hurt by. I told you, about my sister, like my sister being just super intelligent, the firstborn, just. But the nature of the beast is that you can't always give the same to every kid.
That's right.
You like you divvying up the funds.
Yeah.
In a sense, right? And so there were some things that I felt that I was I'm trying to think of the good word. So some opportunities that I wasn't afforded to me that was probably afforded to my older sister.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we had to talk about that, and he admitted, like, he seen me kind of like him, just strong and didn't necessarily need like the pat on the back. And I told you, words of affirmation is my number one love language.
That's right.
I had to learn that 30 plus years later.
Oof. Yeah.
But it's like, it was times I didn't feel love. Did not mean, thank you for helping me, this Holy Ghost. It didn't mean I wasn't loved. Just mean I didn't feel love.
That's right.
Because how I interpreted love, he didn't know how I interpreted love. I didn't even know how I interpreted love, right? And so, but now because I'm learning to love myself, I'm teaching everybody around me how to love me. I told you, I'm comfortable with telling my brothers, I need y'all to coddle me. I'm comfortable with saying it now. So now I'm comfortable with telling my parents, this is how I need to be loved. Like, I need to hear, I'm proud of you. And so now my dad, I love you, son. I'm proud of you. So to answer your question, I can receive it now. 5 years, 6 years later, in the past, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have been able to see it. And there's still so much residue that I'm overcoming, right?
For sure.
But one thing I understand now, becoming a man, I'm a 40-year-old man. I have an 18-year-old daughter. And I know I've hurt her. Sure, divorcing her mom hurt her. Me leaving her mom hurt her. There are things I'm waiting for the day when she got to have that same sit down with me that I had with my father. I understand now, being a man, is that we parent from a broken place. Some of us have been just doing the best we can. You said your dad came out of the closet when he was 40?
Yeah, man.
We know the feelings didn't start when he was just 40, right?
That's, of course.
and now we talk about the church. We talk about all this stuff.
Oof,
like,
yeah, it's big.
Can you? I mean, and men, a lot of times, unfortunately, we don't have the language to say how we feel.
That's right.
We hide behind the mask of masculinity.
Yep.
So it's like, I heard T.D. Jakes he said it, and I just heard it. He said, some of us are gallon people trying to get love from people that's only a paint. And they're literally giving you all they got.
Yeah.
But it's just a paint.
Right.
And you're a gallon and they're not filling you up.
Yeah.
But they're literally giving you everything they got.
Yeah, I like that.
But it doesn't fill you up.
Right, that's right.
And so now I have a lot of sympathy with men because I had to experience manhood. I had to experience hurting somebody else. Now to understand My father didn't intend to hurt me.
Wow.
It's just the nature of relationships. Relationships hurt. Point blank, period. And so that's a long-winded answer to your
No,
question.
I liked it.
Like,
It was beautiful, though. Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. So
Whew.
I'm glad your parents are still here. Y'all still have so much time.
I know.
to
It's real
talk.
sweet, you know?
And you're gonna have to be the leader in some areas.
It's true. It's true. You know, it's an odd thing. I feel like I have very adult relationships with them. I didn't really get childhood relationships with them in the same way, you know, but it's special. I take whatever I can get, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. What's one thing you feel like you need to say to yourself?
I had this moment the other day when I was going through some relationship trauma, and I looked in the mirror and I said, "I love you." And I broke down crying, and I realized that I had never said that to myself, like not once. As a 40-year-old person, not once, right? And I don't know if you've ever said it or you've, you know, like, it's not something we say to ourselves, but I'm like, I am dedicating myself to myself, right? I'm gonna start courting myself. I'm gonna take myself steady. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put my own jacket on myself and just like take myself on a date. I'm gonna love myself. So I think it's like, that's it. That's it, right?
Man, I don't want to take this too far left,
Yeah.
but oh man, I'm trying to see it. So, what you just said, that's foreign to a lot of us.
Right.
You literally tell yourself you love yourself.
Right.
Like, it's foreign to us. Like they say, one of the things, I'm glad this is good, because I think I was about to maybe go too far left, but this is a good medium, right?
All right.
One of the things they say you should do is that you should stand in front of a mirror naked.
Oof.
And really look at yourself. And all the things you think you don't like, you need to speak about love.
That's beautiful. That's gonna be real hard.
Very raw, right? But it's how many of us really know ourselves enough to, we look at the parts we don't want and fleeting, you know, like we real quick, let me get past that. But to really sit there and take yourself in and love on yourself. That's one of the things they say to really creates like self-love.
Yeah.
And so, telling yourself you love yourself. Beautiful thing. And I'm glad you're doing that. I'm glad you're courting yourself.
I'm working on it.
You
know, I like myself right now. I'm working toward love.
Hey, I like myself. I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. Where are you now? Like, where will you say you are in life right now?
I feel like those are two different questions, but you know, I'm here now, right? Like that is, there's nowhere else to be except here now. So that feels very true. I learned this, I didn't learn it. I mean, these two words put together really brought me to a new way of thinking about it. But two words together, modeling enlightenment. And enlightenment is a tricky word because you know, to me it just means like oneness or awareness or something, like we're all connected, but it's like a way, way deeper thing that your body knows that your brain can't know, kind of thing. But I guess it's like I want to model the things that I want. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like if I don't have, you know, abundance in opportunity or money to get to those places, I'm gonna model the ways in which I can just be here and like model these ways to be. I want to model vulnerability. I want to model openness and gratitude as a state of being, as opposed to just like, you know, I'm working on this or I'm working on that. Like those things feel like the recipe to make the most beautiful cake or whatever. Like there's no way to get there without that. So I think I don't know. Yeah, I just have had so much of a shift in the way I'm going about like art and expression and who I want to connect with and how I want to connect with them. It's like the word holy moment feels really present for me, you know, creating these moments of actual connection, that energy that's like, I truly see you and I'm allowing you to see me, you know? Yeah.
Last question. I love it. Last question. Why do you exist?
Woo! Oh, man, that's a deep one. There was this moment when I was in the church. This guy, Chuck, he was a big influence on me. He had this prophecy over me. He told me that I was like a waterfall. Like music was the water, right? And even though I feel really removed from that time, I feel really present in that feeling. Like I am that waterfall, right? And I can become that at any point. I can remind myself of that at any point. Like, I think why I'm here is simply just to make I don't know, why am I here? There's something deeper that I can't quite grip onto. It's like to connect with you, to be a waterfall for you, right? For I don't know if I have the answer. It's a good question. What's your answer?
I'm getting emotional. I'm crying. You know, I told you I'm a fan. Like, and I don't know if you really understand when I say that. I take your existence very personal because when I tell you, you know, you help me daily. You really do. I know it can get hard sometimes trying to figure all this stuff out. And I don't know, maybe I don't even know if you give as much weight to your words as you know I take them. I don't know. But just listening to some of your messaging, it's like I feel like you get me. Like she gets it. Like, and so I'm gonna transition to my acknowledgments because I normally do acknowledgments, and so I want to acknowledge you for living your truth. And hopefully that doesn't sound foreign because I know I'm living my truth, but then sometimes I can feel like a counterfeit at the same time. Because it's like, I can tell these people all this stuff, but am I living up to the stuff I'm telling other people? But I want to thank you and I want to acknowledge you for living your truth. Acknowledge you for going after it even when it's scary. Going after it when you feel like you're alone, when it feel like nobody really understand. I want to thank you. And so when I, send you messages, like, I appreciate your existence. I want you to understand. I really do. Like, you feed my soul, and so, I'm saying, I ain't just trying to gas you. Like, this is about as authentic as I can get. Will let you know how much I really appreciate you. Because for me, it's a moment by moment thing. And what you're creating is helping me in my moments, and so.
Wow.
I just want to say I appreciate you. I want to acknowledge where you are, what you're doing, and I want you to continue to become whatever that looks like. Just continue to become. When you get tired, have grace on yourself. When you get tired, don't let anybody else tell you how you should deal with that tiredness.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, sometimes there is a breaking point, and there is a time when we just gotta lay it down. And I don't know how that looks for you, but sometimes you just gotta just put it down, and it may look differently to everybody else.
Yeah.
And and some people can say, don't you do that, don't do that. Like, whatever's going to work for your soul. But I just want to acknowledge you and say, I appreciate you. I really, really appreciate you. And so,
man,
that's my acknowledgments. I want to give you the last words if you have anything you want to say.
It just means so much to me. I think I just am soaking it in. I don't hear that, very much. And it just means so much to connect with you in that. And I really appreciate what you're doing. I really do. It feels very important, feels very powerful, feels very just needed right now, and I just appreciate you too. And I appreciate your existence too.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
This episode recorded at Bench Productions. Engineered by Wayne Brooks Jr. Theme song by High for Sunrise Entertainment. Parables Now is a partnership with real people to make a real impact all around the world.